At the completion of this module, assistant managers will be able to contact an applicant by phone to make a job offer, assess an applicant's progress of the onboarding forms in the Job App Manager portal, complete onboarding tasks with the employee on their start date, and evaluate that all onboarding tasks are completed to finish the hiring process. Let's get started by learning how to make a job offer to an applicant. To begin, log in to the Job App Manager portal. The main menu will have a list of applicants that include vital information, such as the position they applied for and their POSI Fit score. Select the applicant you wish to hire. Personal information, such as their address and phone number, is located here. Assistant managers will need to contact the applicant by phone first to make the job offer. Important tip: do not change the applicant's status to hired in the portal before the applicant is called. Changing the status creates an automated email to the applicant. Failure to make the verbal offer before doing this action will create confusion for both the company and the applicant. Now it's time to call and make the offer. Assistant managers need to make sure to relay the following information to the applicant: the hourly rate they will be paid, the number of hours per week they can expect, what day to come in to complete the hiring process and start their first day at work, the onboarding paperwork they are required to complete prior to their start date, and the requirement to bring in documentation on their start date to establish employee authorization and identity for the I-9 form. Important tip: assistant managers cannot specify what kind of documentation to provide for employee authorization and the I-9 form. Once the applicant accepts the job offer, you will need to change their status in the portal to hired. Log back in to the Job App portal. The landing page takes you to a list of all your applicants. Click on the specific applicant that has been hired. This will bring up the applicant status window. From here, you will be able to change their status to hired. Go ahead and give it a try. Congratulations! You have successfully offered a position and hired an applicant. They are now designated onboarding in the portal. Your job now is to monitor their progress of the onboarding forms that they must complete before their start date. From the Jump To menu, managers can access applicants with onboarding status. Click on the Hire bar in the image to get started. Selecting the Hire bar will reveal 3 subcategories that applicants are divided into: onboarding, completed, and terminated. Click on the onboarding bar to continue to the landing page.
The checkboxes and color-coded progress bars are visual cues to determine the status of an applicant's onboarding tasks. Let's take a closer look at one applicant. Click on John Taco, the applicant we will be hiring. In the section to the left, you will see a list of all of the things you can do for this applicant. The first thing you should do is make sure all of the employee details are accurate. To do this, click on Edit Employee Details. On this screen, you will need to confirm the employee data is all correct based on the documents that your new employee presents to you. First, you'll want to confirm that the name is spelled correctly, just as it appears on the Social Security card. Then confirm the Social Security number is correct. With the applicant, confirm that their address and phone number are also correct. On this screen, you also need to enter in the new employee's date of birth, start date, pay rate type, and the actual pay rate. You do not need to enter in the benefit status or the position type. Based on this Social Security card, update the needed fields, save your changes, and now you're ready to move on. In the next section, you will be completing the I-9 form. In the Things You Can Do menu, select I-9. The new hire should have completed most of this form prior to the first day, but you will need to verify all of the information. Confirm again that the name and Social Security number match the Social Security card your new employee has provided you. If they do not match, go back to the previous section, Edit Employee Details, and update this information. To complete the next section of the I-9 form, ask the new employee to provide you with documentation to prove their identity and employment authorization. You must see the original documents. Copies are not acceptable. If they have given you a U.S. passport or U.S. passport card, select List A and choose which document from the drop-down list. If they have given you another acceptable form of documentation, select List B and C and indicate the type provided in these drop-down menus. Hover over these menus to see the acceptable documents. The last step for this form is for you to verify and sign it. So as the manager, you will need to digitally sign this form and enter your job app password. Click Finish to move on to the next step. The employee should have completed the W-4 form prior to the first day, so you do not need to do anything unless they wish to make a change. Click on the form to see its status. If the employee completed the Work Opportunity Tax Credit prior to arrival, you will not need to complete anything further. Click on the form to see if there are any manager tasks to be completed. If there are, you will be prompted and instructed on what to do by the system. The next section is a list of required forms. These forms vary depending on your location, and there can be upwards of 20 on the list. Note the status icon that will tell you if the employee has completed this form or not. Some forms do require additional steps, such as a manager's signature or a need to be printed, signed, and mailed. Hover over each of the status icons to find out what they mean.
The next step is the submission of the E-Verify. There is no test site for the E-Verify, and as a result, we cannot provide detailed instructions. However, we will walk through the E-Verify process as much as we can. In the Things You Can Do menu, select the E-Verify option. A dialog box will open up with all of the applicant's information. Double-check that all of the information is correct, and then press the blue Submit E-Verify Request button. If you need help, do not hesitate to call HR Documents. Looking at all the onboarding applicants, you'll see a column along the right-hand side indicating how near each of the applicants are to completing all the necessary forms. To the left of that column are columns for some of the forms we discussed earlier: the Work Opportunity Tax Credit form, the E-Verify, W-4, and the I-9. As each of these forms are completed, they'll be checked off in the checkboxes below, and the percentage over here will increase. You'll notice that this applicant has no check marks, and therefore their percentage bar shows 0%. This applicant has 2 check marks and 85% complete. And this uppermost applicant over here has all of the columns checked off except for the E-Verify, which, as mentioned before, we were unable to complete in the demo, and the percentage bar is at 100%. Once the applicant has filled out all the necessary forms, we can change their status to complete. Select the applicant below whose percentage bar indicates that they have filled out all of the forms. Once the status bar slides open, you'll see on the left-hand slide is an applicant status square. Down here at the bottom is the applicant status, which you can change by clicking anywhere within this rectangle. This dialog box will open up. We're reminded at the top that the applicant's current status is onboarding. In order to change the applicant's status, click on the drop-down menu and select Completed. Now click Save, and you're done.